That is very bright. Good evening. Thank you for joining me. What I wanted to chat to you about this evening is something that is so simple, but it occurred to me today when I sat down with my accountant. In my drinking days, how damaging what we were discussing was to me. A little bit of a backstory. In my past, particularly when I was drinking, I didn't take care of my finances. I wasn't responsible with my money. I certainly wasn't responsible with how I conducted myself in terms of my credit and loans and so on. And there were times I would be getting phone calls from banks and phone calls from loan agencies wanting to know why I was so far behind on my payments, why I had missed my payments, why I had not made payments when I had promised to. And in sobriety, what I learned over the last 17 years, and the gift from that is if you have a problem, address it first. Be the one phoning the bank, be the one phoning the finance company or phoning the collection agency. Make sure that they know exactly where you stand, as terrifying as it may sound. Be the one who is progressive with minimizing your opportunities or with minimizing the opportunities around you to bring additional chaos and destruction into your life. So, if you're in a position where your tax is years behind, or even if recently behind, get hold of a professional. Find a way to start working on solving that problem, so you don't get those phone calls and those messages. If you're behind on loans, make sure that you speak to the loan agencies and don't get to receive those phone calls or the sheriff knocking at your door. Those are some pretty extreme examples. But what it comes down to is looking at every area of our lives and making sure that we take responsibility and are accountable for what we owe and what we need to do. Is it a medical checkup? Is it the service of a car? Is it changing our car tires? All of these things that can be problematic and can cost a great deal of money, which is why potentially we're avoiding it, need to be done. So prioritize them and find a way to make them happen, because the disaster that we can avoid by taking action now is so beneficial for our mental health, because we may not realize it. We may not realize the extent of the impact, but when we know that we're behind on certain things, when we know that our tires on our car are not good, or our brakes are not good, or it's been too long that that car's been serviced, or a project is due, or we've promised to do something, and we haven't done these things yet that need to be done, even if they're past due, particularly if they're past due, they will erode our mental health, and they will erode the available energy that we have on a daily basis. So again, what I would advise, what I would suggest is we go back to our journaling, we get a journal, and we go through in our minds everything that we need to address. We go through in our minds the lists that we need to make, from our car to our home to our financials to everything, to our health, that we need to address and we need to get sorted. We make a list, and then we take each one of those items on our list and we write down a plan to address them, to resolve them, and to get them done. And we commit to a reasonable, not a due date that's going to punish us, not have my tax returns for 30 years done by Sunday, a reasonable plan. Maybe we need to speak to someone first before we can make that goal. But set a goal that's reasonable and kind to yourself to address these issues. It comes down to being an adult. It comes down to being responsible. But above all, above all, it comes down to loving ourselves and showing ourselves love and kindness and compassion and responsibility. Being responsible for those we love is a way of showing that love, and that is the love we need to show to ourselves. So get your journal, write down the things you need to do in order to keep yourself safe and to protect your mental health. And then take those items and write down an action plan to address them, what you need to do to get them done. And get them done. I love you guys. Thank you for joining me this evening. Please remember, Sunday evening on the Bar to the Bar Facebook page and the Nicholas Engel Experience YouTube channel will be live. I'll be taking questions and answers. We may not have any questions yet, but this is a long-term commitment in growing what we're doing here. Thank you for joining me. Have an amazing evening. Oos.